The meat and potatoes of the new Frontier Airlines is, say, Denver to Las Vegas, 2 hours and 5 minutes. You're going to compete with the big boys, and you're going to do it on a regional basis. How do you avoid the failures of Frontier Airlines from the past?
Well, the main way we do it is low cost. In 2019, we were the lowest cost airline in the United States, not just from an ex-fuel perspective, but fuel as well, because we're America's greenest airline. So we're just positioned much better from a financial perspective than we were in the past, and our brand is stronger than it's ever been.
The brand is strong as it's ever been. Do you need the big airlines to survive? Are they your friend or enemy?
They're not. I don't guess we're friends or enemies. Look, they're in a different business. They
Yes.
carry corporate. We focus on the leisure domestic traveler, and we're just in a different business.
What is the strategy forward out of pandemic? Delta yesterday announcing the middle seat and all that. I don't even know if Frontier has a middle seat to Billings, Montana. But what is your pandemic strategy out?
Look, I mean, we have, from the beginning of the pandemic, we put safety first, but that of our employees as well as our customers, and we were leaders in the space in terms of, innovating new things like the temperature checks and the health certification and so forth. But now, we're moving beyond that. People are getting vaccinated, and the country's reopening again, so that's what's exciting now.
Barry, why IPO now? Why not back in 2017, 2018 when you initially were thinking about it?
Well, look, IPOs are there's never a perfect time, but I'll tell you today is a great time because it's, we like to joke that we were low cost and low fare and leisure oriented before it was cool. So look, there's never been more excitement about leisure travel, and there's never been a better time for us to be positioned for the next 5 to 10 years.
What are you going to do with the money, Barry? Is it going to be plugging a gap from the months and months of people not traveling, or is it going to be investing in new airplanes and new routes and competing with bigger airlines that are perhaps hit harder by the slower comeback of business travel?
Yeah, look, when you look at us through the pandemic, we took on the equivalent of about $1 per passenger over the next 5 years in debt. But the rest of the industry took on $16 per passenger. Just massive debt load differences of how we managed the pandemic versus how they did. So, yeah, look, on a relative basis, we're in great shape. But I think when you think about the future, we're just better positioned from a cost structure at a time when all this leisure demand is coming in.
Barry, I want to pick up on some words you used. Before it was cool. And I just wonder how much competition you're expecting now from some of the legacy carriers here in the United States, given the fact that it is cool now, given the fact that people are worried that business travel doesn't return quite in the same way. Is this set to get even more competitive? And where does your edge come from?
Well, look, there is so much demand. There's plenty of room for all the capacity that's hitting the market. The question is what are they going to be paying? And so when we look at our cost structure relative to theirs, we can make money on low fares. But if your costs are double ours, it's going to be a hard time making money at the fare levels that we sell at.
Barry, touch on the demand for us right now. Just give us a picture of how things are developing in America, the surge you're already seeing, the bookings over the last week or so.
Well, I can tell you in the last week, being in New York and here at the NASDAQ today, the excitement's huge, right? I mean, the quarantine was just removed for New York State today. And you can just feel it in the energy this morning in the city. But I'll tell you, overall, over the past month, we went cash positive at the beginning of March. And that's just a reflection of the demand that's out there. And, you think about the vaccine, it's just unlocking all this demand. People have got plenty of money. Think about it. In January, there was $3.9 trillion in people's pockets. And that was up 70% year over year. And that's before the $1,400 is coming into people's pockets with the latest stimulus. So you got plenty of money in people's pockets and a huge, huge amount of demand to get out of your house and get going. So I just think it's never been a better time to be in the airline business.
Barry, you're talking about how other airlines have more debt per the dollar of their value than you do. How much do you expect prices to increase of these plane tickets, both among your competitors and then for yourself?
Yeah, look, I can't speak for what they're going to do with their prices, but obviously they've got a lot more pressure if you have higher costs, and you'll want to reflect that in some way to pay that back. But that's why we're so excited about ourselves, given that we took on less than $1 per passenger. So it's not an impairment on us. But look, if they're raising prices, you'll have to ask them.
Barry, before we let you go, vaccine passports. Controversial subject right now in the industry.
Come on, Barry.
What's your position on it?
Really, Tom?
Yeah, so So what's my position? Well, look, I think it would be great if you could implement it. There's just a lot of challenges with it, and I think in the U.S., given the vaccine is really already knocking down the hospitalizations. Yeah. I don't know how necessary it's going to be, but I think when you're traveling, between countries that maybe one or the other has still a lot of infection, I think it makes sense,
Barry,
especially on international.
I got to go with you, the pride of Gainesville, Texas. I'm going to cut to the chase. Are you happy with the opening up of your Texas? I mean, can you support the governor, or do you need to see a different strategy in your Texas?
Well, if you look at the facts, I know they got rid of the mask mandate, and if you looked last week, their cases hadn't changed materially versus some other states. So there's something else going on. But look, I'm from Texas, and I'll always be proud of being from Texas.
Hey Barry, we don't expect that to change. Good to catch up, sir.